In celebration for his 22nd birthday, I decided to create this special video talking about the birthday boy himself. But first, if you haven't seen an iceberg before, you might be confused about what this picture even is. And to be concise, what we're gonna do today is talk about the more well-known things about Thomas, which will be on the surface, and deep dive to the depths of the abyss, discussing things that not even he knows about himself. So let's not waste any time, and let's get right into it. Darkish Star is the alias that Thomas uses in almost everything. From his Discord name to almost every game he plays, he sticks with this name. Although a slightly childish name, it's a pretty unique name that he's proudly held to this day. Anyone that's been in the same room as Thomas and a gaming console knows how quickly he'll try to flaunt his gaming ability. You'll know this when he challenges you at a video game that you know that he knows all the tech for. He doesn't explain anything to you, and then he'll snort and cackle when he wins and you finally realize you've been holding the controller upside down. But other than that, he's known for playing Melee, a fighting game that's as old as he is, and Apex Legends, which he still isn't diamond in. Thomas has been cooking for a while, and he makes sure that everyone knows that. But it's actually really good food, and honestly, that's why he's the cooking mama. Thomas frequently browses 4chan. Thomas is a well-renowned musician whose talents have only been coming to light as of recently, and also without his knowledge or control. I myself have crafted a few masterpieces that you might have seen using his singing without really telling him until I upload the song, but here's a couple.
Down she sucked me clean, suck it till she hiccup. Then I lift her dress up and beat on that bottom like I'm running low on ketchup. Then her boyfriend next.
I'm even wearing my favorite shirt.
Look inside the cell, let's learn all this stuff back.
Reborn was the previous name for his YouTube channel, now replaced with Anju, but was home to many classic videos that are all unlisted now. The only ones that remain are a few of his speedruns and a mysterious video called Mediated Group Speech Group 4. Thomas' speedrun videos on his YouTube channel weren't just for show. In those videos, he actually broke the world record for a mechanically intense game, and he left an everlasting impact on the entire community. I've already made a video about this, so watch that for more.
You were the clock that was ticking in my home. Changed my state of mind. Love's so hard to find.
Although an aspiring chef with knowledge of dishes from many different cuisines, he's a few remarkable outliers in his knowledge of baked goods. Cookies. Now, look at his tier list and tell me why sugar cookies are D tier. In an unexpected turn of events, Thomas was presented with an opportunity to meet his lifelong idol, Pokimane. And in that moment, he took the opportunity to ascend above and beyond all his fellow simps, and his elbow brushed against her. It's reported to this day that he is still not showered. If the Pokimane incident wasn't enough to tell you how much of a simp he is, hear it from the man himself.
I am a simp. I accept it. I am a full
Oh my
simp.
god, someone quote that.
Although he was once a man who used to hate being touched by other men, he slowly became more and more prone to the gentle caress of a man. Just watch this video. Thomas sometimes proudly brags about his days as a stud, calling himself the shit. He wore the freshest clothes, took your lunch money, and held hands with your girl. We finally reached it. The bottom. What could possibly be down here that we haven't already covered? Well, If you don't want to hear the chilling secrets that remain, turn back now before it's too late. It's been almost a decade since his reform. He's a good man now, and I've seen his growth personally. But back in the day, absolute degenerate. No one I've seen comes close to doing as horrible things that he's done to that body pillow. Years after his reform, he's relapsed a few times, posting pictures. He still has that interest in Japanese women, but only one woman stands out in particular. Yui. And he does not let you forget that. He's posted the same image multiple times. Not once, not twice, not thrice, but 4 different times. I'm sick of it. I can't do it anymore. Help. This is the bottom of the abyss. This prompt in particular might be the most confusing as an outsider looking in. But I want you all to know something. Thomas wasn't always the way he is. I'm genuinely happy for the things he's accomplished and who he's become. But on that day, he changed. And he hasn't been the same. I have a photograph showing the exact moment he changed. Look. But before that, we have to talk about ratatouille. Ratatouille is a nice dish, and I mean that literally. It's a French dish which originated in Nice, but it's also the name of a highly acclaimed animated Disney Pixar film about Remy, a rat with a special gift, the gift of smell, and he uses this gift to cook. He's not just any ordinary cook, but he's an amazing one. He realizes that he can manipulate a human by placing himself on top of their head and using their hair to control their bodies, like a puppet master from the shadows. But this all takes place in a fairy tale-esque story, so there's no ill intention. But we don't live in a fairy tale. We live in the real world. And the real world is a much, much darker place. Since that day, Thomas has become obsessed with cooking. It used to be a relaxing hobby on the side where he helped out his family in the kitchen and they all ate a delicious meal after. But once that bird sunk its fangs so deep into him, there's only one thing in his mind now. Cooking. 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 Cooking! Thomas has always left these subtle hints, these cries for help, these outlets of his internal pain, just to try to get our attention. One evening last year, me and a few others lived with him, and he came to us spontaneously, but also playfully, asking if we could shave his head, which we thought nothing about. So, we went along with it, and after about a half hour of work, we were just about done with the entire cut. As we shaved the last length of hair left on his head, he let out a sigh. A powerful sigh. And at that moment, no one else but I noticed. A single teardrop falling down his cheek. Quickly, he wiped it away, frantically looking around to see if anyone caught a glimpse. But by the time he turned around, I wasn't looking anymore. I pretended not to notice. During the next couple of weeks, I saw a noticeable change. No longer was he the man that cooked with his elaborate dishes, utilizing every single spice like a painter using every color on his palette. He had now started to solely rely on black beans for sustenance. "It's to save money," he says, trying to convince us, but only I knew the truth. Some things are inevitable, and when his hair started to grow back, he dropped the act. The grocery bills started to skyrocket to an all-time high, new dishes coming out of the arsenal as if he were traveling the entire world in his kitchen. And one day, it became too much for him. In his last act of desperation, he dropped to his knees and begged us to shave off all his hair. once again, so that he could be free from this curse. Shocked were our roommates, who had no idea what he was talking about, but I knew. I walked up to him, quickly shaved off all the hair on his head, but since that day, he hasn't reached out once. He's begun to lose self-control. That pesky bird has taken over. After he moved back home, it's only gotten worse. He cooks almost all the meals now. He's honing on his knife skills, writing down notes, trying to learn as much about cooking as he can. He's even trying to become a cooking streamer. How about that? Now he tries to drown out by playing as much Super Smash Bros. Melee as he can. It's already too late for him, and I really wish him the best. I hope everyone that watches this video can do the same. Please don't say anything to him. I only made this part to scream into the abyss, and recently he's told me the worst part of it all. Have you guys ever seen him on past 12 a.m.? Well, neither have I, and that's cause he's been waking up early. After all, the early bird gets the worm.